A Holocaust survivor is beginning a week-long visit to the northwest today as part of the Northern Ireland Holocaust Commemoration.
I was arrested at the age of 5 at a little preschool. And at the same sort of time, my 1-year-old baby sister was arrested by Dutch police. We were sent to a prison camp in the Netherlands, barbed wire fence, wooden watchtowers. Don't go near the barbed wire fence, they'll shoot you dead. Cattle trucks and goods trucks every week, a train every Tuesday. Took about 1,000 people, mostly to Auschwitz and Sobibor. I'm in Northern Ireland for a week speaking to schools and various other venues. I think that the talks that I give and people like myself give individually make very little difference, but they do make a difference. You know, it's hard work, it's a long road. We haven't solved this problem, and we're not going to solve it satisfactorily any day soon. The violence and the killing around the world. But you've got to do something, you've got to try. Doing nothing is not an option without catastrophic consequences. 2 young men walked in, and one of them said, "Is Martin Stern here?" And the teacher immediately shot back, "No, he hasn't come in today." And I didn't understand, aged 5, what was going on. So I put my hand up. And I said, "But I am here." And as these 2 young men were leading me out of the back of that class, I looked round, and I'll never forget the ashen face of the teacher.
We've been working with Dr. Martin Stern, who's a survivor of the Holocaust, for a number of years now. He works as part of a legacy group informing our work, and it's been an honour and a privilege to be working with him. He uses his words to tell people about his own experiences, to educate about the Holocaust and genocide. So it was a fantastic opportunity that through working with the Executive Office here in Northern Ireland, we were able to facilitate a meeting between Martin and school groups and community groups ahead of Holocaust Memorial Day 2018.
It was an amazing experience. Getting to hear from somebody that was actually there during the time is so much more enlightening.
It gives the topic much more meaning and much more depth. He explained it with lots of detail, and it just painted a much more, interesting picture of this era of history.
We can never fully understand how painful it must have been for him, but it was good to still hear the talk, and especially from hearing it in history class, we learned so much more than we could on Google or anything like that.
I thought it was very enlightening to hear firsthand from a survivor of someone through them situations. I mean, it just brings the full thing to life.
The pupils do find it very shocking, and I think when they're quite young, they don't know how to express that. It's one of the only opportunities that we're going to have to speak to an eyewitness of the Holocaust, and we're very grateful for this opportunity.
It's just kind of heartbreaking whenever you think he was only 5, and that was like the start of it for him. So it's just trying to imagine what his life was like. He must be so brave too, to go up and to talk about it when it's so personal and emotional for him.
I thought it was very interesting, as it just it was different to have someone actually in, because you see movies and stuff, but I don't know, it was good to see someone firsthand.
You were so young then. Are those memories vivid, or are they sort of informed by what
they're very vivid.
Really?
They're very vivid. They're fragmentary, but very vivid. It reverberates through your life, and it certainly reverberated with great strength through our youth.
How many names do you think are in this pot? Would it shock you if I told you that there are only just over 600 names written around you? So in other words, if we were going to recreate for every Jewish victim of the Holocaust alone, we would need to build another 10,000 of these huts to encompass all the names.
At first, we were coming over, I was very excited because, we were going into a real prison, what's mad. But then I came here and then we realised we'd learned about it in school, we do a Memorial Day every year. You don't understand how bad it is.
In the room with all the names of the young people, under the age of 16, there's 600 names, and it was really eye-opening and shocking there was that many, because it's a large number, but seeing it like that was really just wow.
My sister and I ended up in a cattle truck. Sometimes it went agonizingly slowly for hour after hour after hour. These trains did not get priority on the German railway system. By the way, the German railways charged a fare for every Jew taken to the camps. The fare was paid by the SS. The Nazis forced Jews who were being deported to first transfer their bank accounts and everything of value they owned to a fake bank with a Jewish-sounding name, but it was in fact an SS bank. The money came from the money stolen from Jews.
It was amazing. Being a GCSE history student and having a first-hand account of that, it was just so informative, and it's amazing that he can come in and talk to such a huge number of people about such a personal issue.
It was very inspiring, but especially in history when you learn about so many people dying, all these statistics, 6 million, all these figures, but to really hear it from the individual's point of view, you can really see the personal level of the suffering, so that's an entirely different layer of history.
I think what Dr. Stern is trying to do is to make people aware that genocide is still around in the world, particularly coming from Derry, where we have come through a conflict ourselves. I think it's important that our children are aware. The more learning they have about it, the more chance there will be that such behaviour will stop in the future.
My baby sister and I were taken from amongst the other children by a Dutch woman we didn't know. She didn't know us. She just heard that our father had killed 2 German soldiers, and for that reason she picked us rather than other children when she had an urge to look after a couple of children. In Terezin, she used the name de Jong, which was her maiden name. It's like Mrs. Young in English. She couldn't let us go to our deaths alone. She was going to keep us company. And the names were read out, and the children boarded the train, but our names weren't called. And so I missed the train to Auschwitz.
I felt so awful for what he had to go through, and I'm just sitting in his talk thinking I can't believe he just had to go through that, and I'm reading it in a textbook and I don't even think how terrible this was. It just brought everything to life.
He said that he felt like it was his duty to tell his story, and it's an honour to hear it.
You have to feel a sense of empathy for him, especially after everything he's been through and how he's lost his parents, and then even after how he's dealt with it.
You can hear how passionate he is about it when he's speaking, and how he's also come to peace with it, but he's never going to forget.
And one day a military lorry, pulled up and stopped just below the window, and soldiers jumped off the back, ran round the corner. I couldn't see where they were running because it was on the same side of, my side of the street. And then I heard shouting and shots, and a bit later the soldiers came back with men who they shoved on the back of the lorry who they'd arrested, and I was told that people had been shot dead. And that it was a black market, and the Nazis had raided it.
Until recently, he wasn't able to talk about it, and then he realised that if he didn't, then everything that happened to him and happened to his family would just be lost once he died. Finding out why he decided to talk about it was super interesting as well.
He tells us his experiences and gives us insight to all the things that have happened in the past that shouldn't happen again.
Supposing somebody comes around and tells you some facts. They do not tell you all the facts, because if they did, you might realize there were 2 sides to the question. They select those facts to give a one-sided picture and make you angry. And the anger center in the old brain fires up. It takes control, and your cerebral cortex is not working. You are no longer thinking rationally. You are not looking for new evidence. You want action. You want to lash out. You walk in a crowd with a fist in the air. And the demagogue has got you.
It was so inspiring. There's only so much that we can actually learn from reading a history book, and actually hearing it from someone that went through it, someone that experienced so much trauma. It really puts it into perspective that it actually did happen.
It wasn't just a name, it was a father, it was a daddy, it was a sister, it was just actual people.
you ever see Mrs. de Jong again?
In the 1980s, I took a holiday to see if I couldn't find her again, and with the help of the Netherlands Red Cross, I succeeded.
Really?
And we were reunited shortly before she died of breast cancer.
That's incredible.
But it had been a lifelong source of sorrow to her that we had been removed from her. Hatred and anger only destroy oneself. I have a large number of Holocaust survivor friends, very good friends, wonderful friends, and all of us try and use it constructively.
I see young people as key to a better future. So for those young people to be listening to a man who's sharing a story, who doesn't have the answers, but has been telling us, we need to keep on learning. We need to look back, just not to remember, but what can we learn by looking back so that we can do better in the future. This has been a great privilege to be in the company of Dr. Martin Stern.
Well, I've been utterly astonished. I've never done a group of talks that has been anything remotely like the ones in Northern Ireland. The commitment, the enthusiasm, the efficiency are unique. I'm bowled over. It's an incredible experience.